Hi guys, Chef Kevin Belton here. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Now, would you believe today is ginger ale day? So, as opposed to just sipping on a nice ginger ale, why not cook with it? So let's make a sauce with it, okay? So I have my pans heating up, okay? Now, first off, we're gonna make a little bit of a roux, which is just butter and flour. So in this skillet, we're gonna get a little bit of flour in our butter. Let me turn this other, I have the other pan heating up. I don't want to get it too hot. So here I had 2 tablespoons of butter. And then here I just have 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. And we're not going to cook this to where it changes colors. You know, R-O-U-X, a roux is just basically cooking flour. And what we're doing, we're pretty much doing the traditional roux, which is a blonde roux, where you're just cooking it long enough to get rid of that floury taste. So we don't want this so much to like change colors to get to where it's brown. We don't need it to get brown. So I'm going to turn our fire down a little bit.
While that's cooking, you want to tell them what you're making?
I am going to make, gang, a sauteed pork chop with a ginger ale gravy. How about that? How you like that? So while this is doing that there, okay, play nice right here. Look what I have. I have ginger ale. We're gonna get in some soy sauce, a couple of cups of ginger ale, quarter cup of soy sauce. I have here a little onion powder and a little garlic powder. And we're going to get in some lemon juice. All right. Now that's going to be for our sauce, okay? The pork chops, as you can see, I've taken them and I've just hit them with a little bit of our Creole seasoning, okay? We can do a little extra salt on them, not too much, just a little bit, okay? And you notice they're not too thick. I didn't want the pork chops too thick. Now you can make them as thick or thin as you want, but I didn't want them to have to cook that long. So let's go in our other pan. All right, little butter here, and we're just gonna pan fry our pork chops just in a little pan with a little butter. That's all we want, okay? Now, I don't know if you all remember when grandmother cooked pork chops. You know, grandmother used to cook pork chops for a few hours. Well, I mean, the way pork was processed then is totally different than the way pork is processed now. Okay, the processing now is we can still eat pork while it's a little pink inside. Now, I don't mean raw. It has to be cooked, but it could be just a little rosy. It doesn't have to dry out as much. So here, pan's hot. Let's go ahead, get our pork chops in. Okay, while these are cooking, let's go ahead and get to work on this sauce. Now I'm going to turn that fire up so it doesn't take too long. Notice our roux. See, I wanted it to change color some, but it didn't have to change too much. Now, we didn't have to let it change colors at all, okay? But I like it to where it has a little bit of a toasted taste, but we don't have to go as far as if we're making, say, something like a gumbo, where it's really, really dark. Now, the whole thing here is to make sure we're stirring, and you're going to notice it may be a little lumpy at first, but this is going to start to thicken up. We want to reduce this, and this is one of those things where the longer it goes, the more it reduces, because we want some of this moisture to evaporate, and at the same time, this is going to make this nice and thick, okay? Now, with our gravy, okay, or I should say our sauce, a little bit of salt, a little bit of fresh cracked black pepper, and this should start coming up to a boil to where you can see this is going to start to smooth itself out, okay? Now, it's national. We talked about it being ginger ale day, okay? I don't know if you guys remember, my mom used to make a 7-Up cake, all right? So just like that 7-Up cake, if you have a recipe for something like that, she also made a Coke cake. You could use ginger ale and make a ginger ale cake, all right? Anytime a recipe calls for liquid and calls for a flavor, remember, the flavor you put in, that's the taste that's gonna come out. So not only use ginger ale today, but you can use it other days. I don't know if any of you all ever make a homemade barbecue sauce. And sometimes with a homemade barbecue sauce, I take root beer and I let that root beer cook down and reduce because we got that sweetness in it. Well, you could do the same thing here with the ginger ale. Now, our pork, it's ready to go ahead and be turned. See, by not having them so thick, they really don't take that long to cook. The other thing is, if you do have a super thick pork chop, what you might want to do, you could start it in the skillet like we're doing, and then go ahead and put it in the oven and let it finish cooking in the oven. Because in the oven, it won't keep browning off, but that heat will cook the inside. So I want this to reduce down a little bit more, and just the smell is so good. Wow, this is reduced really nice. Now, let's just take a little taste. Okay, a little more salt. And you know what? You saw me use garlic powder, but I'm sorry, gang. I keep a little minced garlic in the refrigerator. I'm gonna have to go with a little fresh garlic in here.
Yum.
All right. You all heard Monica go, yep.
I said yum.
Oh, yum. There we go. Look at that. Oh, yes. And you see how thick this is? Look, our pork chops are cooked. We can go ahead and turn those pork chops off. Our sauce is thick and really, really nice. And because this was so hot, that garlic doesn't have to go in there for very long before that flavor is released. But it just needed that little extra salt. I think that's it. Oh, look at this. So let's go ahead, gang, and get this plated. Just gonna take my chop. Oh, look how beautiful it is down there. Look at that. Nice and golden. Put it right here on the plate here. We can set our plate here. Our sauce is off. Let's take our spoon and just how much sauce would you like? It's totally up to you. See that fresh garlic on there? Oh man, doesn't that look great? But see how that sauce thickened? That's what we're looking for. We wanted that sauce to get thick. Let's do a little bit of green onion or parsley right on the top. But look at there, okay? That is such a wonderful sauce. And if I would have planned right, man, could you have seen this sitting on top of some mashed potatoes? That'd have been so good. So go ahead, try this sauce with that ginger ale. I really, really, really think that you're gonna like this and you'll make this again, all right? Keep washing those hands, keep masking up. Thank you so much for hanging out cooking with me today. So go ahead and get these ginger ale gravy sauce pork chops made for you and your family. For WWL TV, I'm Chef Kevin Belton, and we'll see you soon.